Hello everyone, welcome back to the Budget Sportsman. Thank you for joining me today. Today's going to be a shotgun patterning video in preparation for turkey season. Some of you have been asking me recently whether I'm going to hunt turkeys this year, and the answer is most definitely yes, and I'm going to try to make some videos if we have any good action. But I'm trying to get prepared. Our season here in Pennsylvania doesn't open until May 2nd, so we have a little bit of time to go, but trying to get everything in order before season gets here. Just a quick background on this video for those of you who are new subscribers or who maybe didn't catch some of the older videos. To give you a little bit of history of my experience patterning shotguns. 2 years ago I made a video patterning shotguns, and it was a 20 gauge shotgun that I grew up shooting, but it did not accept any choke tubes, and I was using cheap ammo. That gun honestly was probably, its effective range was 20 yards, maybe 25, that was pushing it. Last year I didn't make a video about it, but I did switch to using and borrowing my dad's Mossberg 500. Again, it's an older model, did not accept choke tubes with cheap ammo. That was a 12 gauge. I was getting 25 to maybe 30 yards, even 30 was pushing it. By 40 the pattern was just horrible, totally non-existent. I actually missed a gobbler. I did make a video about that. I missed a gobbler last year at 35. I think the pattern had just spread out too much by 35 yards. So today I'm going to be patterning a whole new setup from top to bottom. Different gun, different ammo, and different choke tube. And let me show you what I'm going to be shooting. So today I'm going to be shooting this Stoeger P3000. This is a budget-friendly pump shotgun. Just started shooting this. I'm a big fan of it so far. If you're interested in learning more about the Stoeger P3000 as a budget option for a shotgun, stay tuned because I do plan on doing a more in-depth review of this gun in the next couple of weeks. Now, as mentioned, the previous guns that I shot were not able to accept choke tubes. This one did, and so I did a lot of shopping around trying to figure out what the best choke tube for this gun is, and there's so many variables and so many options, it's really hard to choose. I actually ended up choosing a budget-friendly model. This is the TruGlo Gobble Stopper. Hopefully you can see that. It runs right over $30 on Amazon last time I checked, and I actually got it on sale at Cabela's for $25. So that's a pretty cheap choke tube, all things considered, and so I'm anxious to see how it actually performs. This is for a 12 gauge restriction 0.665, so not the tightest choke in the world, but definitely a full choke designed for hunting turkeys. It is a ported design, which I think is pretty nice. I don't know if it makes any difference or not, but I think it looks cool. So anyways, that's the plan. We're going to put this in the gun. Again, $25 choke tube. And then what we're going to be shooting today, the one thing we really didn't go too budget friendly on here is the Long Beard XR ammo. As mentioned, I've been just shooting the cheapest Walmart brand ammo for a while now, and I've heard so many good things about the Winchester Long Beard XR that I just had to try it. It's interesting that this box of ammo cost me almost as much as this choke tube did. So this is not cheap ammo. You're looking at $1.50 to $2 per shot. This is 12 gauge, 3-inch Magnum. This is not 3.5. We're shooting 1 3/4 ounce load and number 5 shot. So I'll probably mention that number 5 shot more in a little bit. But now that you know the setup, let's get to shooting and see what this gun is actually capable of with a fairly budget gun and definitely a budget choke tube and some good quality ammo. Well guys, at this point we're ready to try to give the turkey loads a try. I'm anxious to see how it does. We're going to start at 30 yards and just see what the pattern's like there, and then we'll move in or out just depending on how that is. Well, let's go take a look. Well guys, this is 30 yards. I have to say this is kind of exciting, kind of disappointing at the same time. We've got a really good group right here, a little bit left and a little bit low. But I have a ton of pellets in the neck and head up here. Plenty to kill this bird at 30 yards, and I've never had a shotgun that I was confident would kill a bird at 30 yards. Now I have one. What's a little disappointing is it seems like a very splotchy pattern, and I'm shooting number 5s. I'm wondering if number 6s might not be better. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin a new target up here. We're going to move to 40 and see what happens at 40 yards. Well guys, this is 40 yards, and actually I'm really pretty happy. That's a pretty even spread. Now I don't have those fancy shoot and see targets, so it's gonna be a little bit harder, but I'm gonna count the number of pellets that are actually in this white skeletal portion, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's right at the edge, 8, 9, 10, 11, a couple more right at the edge, and then if I was to count in this area of the head and neck, there's a lot more. So I still feel pretty confident that this would be a kill shot at 40 yards. Well guys, I've got my target out there about 48, 49 yards now. It's as far as I can get at this particular range. I realize that for a lot of us that's a pretty long shot with a turkey gun, but I just kind of have to know, based upon that 40-yard pattern, I felt like it was pretty decent, and I would just want to know what it is out there at 50 yards. So let's take another shot. Oops, forgot to put my earplugs in. That was loud and dumb. Well, let's take a look. Here I am at 50 yards almost. I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pellets in that skeletal region, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in its neck area. I don't know. I think for me, 50 yards with this particular setup is probably going to be pushing it. What I would like to do, as I mentioned earlier, is probably try number 6 shot out of this. There'll be more pellets in each shot, and I think that would probably actually really help this distance out here at 50 yards. But for me, I think it's going to be about a 40-45 yard limit with this gun. Well guys, I was going to call it a wrap for the turkey loads, but one thing I wanted to do before I go is I want to take one more shot at 20 yards. I've heard that these Long Beard XRs hold such a tight pattern, especially at close range, that you can actually miss because the pattern's too tight. So I want to go ahead and check that out at 20 yards, and this is probably going to be my last shot. I think I put a hole in its neck. Well, here's my 20-yard pattern. As you can see, it punched a hole straight through the paper there, just totally obliterated it. While the pattern is really tight at 20 yards, the good thing is it hit exactly where I was aiming, so that's good news. Well guys, hopefully you saw the results there as I was shooting. I'm going to go ahead and put these targets back on screen and talk about them just a little bit here. First of all, the 20-yard target, it blows me away. I've never had a gun that performed even this well at 20 yards. The patterns already by 20 yards were spreading out. And so I am super happy. I mean, this is a solid pattern at 20 yards. Moving on to 30 yards, this was the first shot I took, and to be honest, I wasn't sure how to kind of perceive it. It was not as tight as I expected at 30 yards, but when I've gone back and actually compared to some past targets, it's actually really good. What I'm going to do is here, I'm going to switch to the target from last year when I was shooting the Mossberg 500 with absolutely no choke tube in it. You can see this target, there's no comparison. The Long Beard XR and this choke tube and the whole system I'm using today is way, way better. When I got out to 40 yards, I started to really see where this was shining. I still had a really solid pattern out at 40 yards, a lot of pellets in the head and neck area of this turkey. And actually, honestly, when I got out to 50 yards, the more I look at it, there's a lot of pellets in the head and neck. Again, holding a pretty good pattern, something I've never been able to achieve before. But I would love to hear from you though. What do you think about this 50-yard pattern? Is it a good pattern? And would you consider taking a shot at a turkey at 50 yards with this kind of a pattern? Let me know down in the comments. Hope this video is helpful to you if you're in the market for a new shotgun, new choke, or even new ammo. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I try to respond to as many of those as I possibly can. Until next time, remember to get off YouTube and get outdoors into God's great creation.